Hi, I'm Todd, and I'm here for my first flying lesson at the Princeton Airport. So I'm eager to find out what happens. Come on, join me. Hey, I'm Todd, and I'm here for my first lesson.
Okay, your instructor's right upstairs.
Thanks a lot. Hi, I'm Todd.
Hey, good afternoon, Todd. You ready for your first flying lesson?
Oh, I'm really excited.
Okay, what we're going to be doing is first we're going to inspect the airplane. There are 50 points that I want you to see before we take off. Make sure the airplane is safe. Okay. Then we'll be flying for about a half hour after that. You have any questions before we go?
Well, how long until I actually get to fly by myself?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm not going to give you the keys this week. But as soon as I know that you're safe, and I feel sure that you're safe to fly by yourself, I'll let you go. It'll be about 10, 20 hours, something like that.
Ah, great.
You ready to go?
Yeah,
the airplane's
let's go.
waiting. Let's go on down there. Okay, before we do our walk around, what we want to do is remove the control lock. Just lift it out, and now that releases the controls so they're free. Just stow that away so it's out of your way. Want to make sure that the key is not in the ignition and the ignition is off. And we're going to turn the master electric switch on, and we're going to look at the fuel gauge up in the upper left-hand corner and see what it reads. It should read full because this airplane was just recently fueled. And it is. It's indicating fuel. We're going to check that visually anyhow as we walk around. We're going to just lower the flaps. And now you can turn off the master switch. I want to check that the avionics master switch is also off prior to start. Mixture is off. Throttle is closed. Fuel is on both. And the fuel shutoff is in the on position. So everything is working fine. Just note down at your foot, there's the registration certificate for the airplane and the airworthiness certificate over there. The handbook is behind the seat, and the weight and balance is inside that. So we're ready now to walk around the airplane.
All right.
All right, now we've done that side of the elevator, so now we're going to look at the rudder. And I want to lift this up. And notice how it's connected. I want to make sure that wire is safety wired, and it's got an attachment that's firm, and on this side, the same thing. And the nice and free movement with no noise. This side of the elevator, free movement, no noise, and all the connections are safety wired and firm, okay? Now this is the trim tab we talked about earlier, and this is the connection for the trim tab. Notice that bolt has a safety wire through the nut, and there's nice smooth movement. Now you can see on top of the stabilizer, the vertical stabilizer, that long wire is an antenna. There's one on each side. That's the navigation antenna for the VOR, the very high frequency omni range. And the red rotating beacon is our anti-collision light. And there's a little white light on the end of the rudder. That's a position light, and that's on at night when we turn the night navigation lights on. All the rivets are in place, and there's no missing, no damage on this side of the fuselage. And this antenna is our emergency locator beacon antenna. So in case we end up in the woods, they can find us. Now these two antennas are the voice communication antennas. And the one in the middle is the GPS navigation antenna for the Garmin 430 that's in there. Okay, Todd, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to actually visually check the fuel in the wing so that we are sure that it agrees with the indicators in the cockpit. I never trust those. I want to see the fuel with my own eyes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have you look up at this tank. I'm going to climb on the other side so I can show you how to do it. Put one hand on the handle, your right foot in the step, and just lift yourself up, steadying your hand. Put your foot there, and I'll be right around. Now just turn that right, counterclockwise, and you can see the fuel right up to the top.
Oh yeah, right there it is.
Okay, make those little projections fit in those slots, and then turn it so that it is absolutely
front and aft.
Front and aft. And we'll do the same thing on this side. Very good. While you're up here, you can see that the top of the wing is in good shape, and there's no damage up here either. Okay?
Terrific.
Now here we are at the propeller. It's very important that you inspect the leading edge of the propeller for any damage. Anything more than 1/8 of an inch of a nick, you should have a mechanic look at it, both sides. The spinner is required, must have one of these on the airplane because it provides nice smooth airflow for cooling. Never lift the propeller from here. If you've got to lift the nose, do it with the propeller.
Okay.
This is the alternator down here. Make sure there's no more than 1/2 inch of play in the belt. No obstructions, no bird's nests on top of that cylinder. And you can see the other side over here. And of course there's 2 more cylinders behind that.
So it's a 4-cylinder engine.
4-cylinder engine, about 165 horsepower.
Wow.
Okay. This is the air filter for the induction system for air. Make sure that the exhaust pipe is nice and tight. The strut is our only shock absorber on the nose, and you can see those attachment points on either side. That's connected to the rudder pedals for taxiing on the ground.
I see.
We steer with our feet, not with the control yoke. And on this side we have the static pressure point for altimeter and rate of climb. And this fellow is the pitot tube, and it will measure ram pressure. In other words, the pressure of the air flowing into it will measure that active ram pressure with static pressure, and it will give us our indicated airspeed on the gauge inside, so you know how fast you're going. It also is heated for anti-ice, but we don't have to worry about that today.
Not today.
This is the drain for the fuel tank, and this is the stall warning. So this acts like a flute. As we raise the nose to what we call the critical angle of attack, you're going to read that in that 3rd chapter in your book, the air will start flowing over it just like a flute, and it will sound inside like a woo sound.
That's
And
the stall.
using all of this as a sound tube, like an organ, and that will give us a warning at a speed above stall. It's telling you you're getting close to a stall.
I see.
And the only time we'll hear it today is when we're landing, because we're not going to demonstrate any stalls today.
Okay.
Landing and taxi light, and then we'll go out to the wingtip. Just check the leading edge. A lot of bugs, a lot of insects. You have a strobe light and the red position indicator. Always the red light on the left wing and the green light, remember, on the right. Well, there was your first lesson in a 172 here at Princeton Airport. We'd love to teach you how to fly an airplane too. Come on down to Princeton Airport. Love to see you in an airplane real soon.